Well, as you can see, we have just started the gold round. We will be bringing you live coverage in just a second, but we wanted to say hello once again. Thanks to Maclaren, the media sponsor for the 2012 Spring Nationals. I'm Chris Love.
Jane Mackey.
And Jane, we just had a somewhat painful light silver fleet round, but the wind is back up, and
yeah,
so
we were terrified. It totally glassed off, but now it's nice.
let's kick it out to the racing. We've got Stanford and Brown on the race course now. Stanford in red, Brown in blue, and they are kicking off gold round 2.
Brown rounding 1-2. They sailed extremely well yesterday. 5 wins, topping out the leaderboard. A couple of different teams on 5 wins, but looking to do it again here.
And you know, we talked about this team a little bit this season and during the silver round racing. Brown, always a strong team, always a good team racing team for sure, but they come from the New England district, NISA, where you've got lots of great teams, and they were definitely not favored to be top 3 at this year's championship. They managed to sneak in there. They knocked off Yale, who's been ranked between 1 and 3 in the team racing rankings nationally.
And
but here they are.
They're proving their worth. They're proving that it was, it wasn't unfounded that they should make it through.
Absolutely, and here they come around the mark. It looks like they've still got that 1-2. Stanford jibes early and is going to try to find something in the middle. We will check back in with them. I think we've got just under a minute left for race number 2, down at the start.
Roger Williams in Charleston. Roger Williams in black and Charleston in yellow. And looking at their records from yesterday, and these carry through right to the finals now. Roger Williams 2 wins yesterday, and Charleston also on 5, just like Brown.
So at the end of round 1, 3 teams were tied. We had Charleston, St. Mary's, and Brown all on 5 wins, but lots more racing to go. We have a whole nother round and then a final 4, which we assume will be sailed tomorrow. Looks like they have started off the line. Charleston in the yellow looking pretty good. Oh, big lefty there. Look at that as everyone tacks over onto port.
And there's one boat that still has not started.
Amazing.
Black number 12.
So we've asked the teams, I've got to just disclaim here in advance, we've asked the teams to give us their rosters and tell us who's going to be in each boat. Low, middle, and high. So we're going to go by that. If we're wrong, apologies, but that's what we've got to go by. Oh, so quickly cutting back to red and blue here. Stanford and Brown. We've got some developments here. A big jibing duel. You see the blue boats, Brown, trying to swallow and get back into a 1-2. Boat 3 for Stanford had an opportunity there to break that up, but they couldn't quite finish it up, and now Brown sailing back into a 1-2 as they approach the leeward mark.
2 young teams here. We have juniors and sophomores, or sophomore from Brown, and Stanford it's freshmen and sophomores.
That's right.
Sophomores this year.
We'll talk more about those guys on their final beat. Sorry to be jumping around, but this is how team racing works. Back to blacks and yellows, Roger Williams and Charleston. Roger Williams had, I think, the first place boat off the line, and that is now boat 11. They also had that boat that was way back. I don't know what happened, but
12.
They started very late. That was boat 12. And so here they come. We like to count pairs. We like to see who's winning pairs. And it looks like boat 11 may just be about to be winning the pair on the right. You can see they're to leeward and ahead. They don't have the freedom to tack to starboard yet, but they're not at the lay line. So I'm going to give it to them. I'm going to award that. There they go. They tack to starboard, force attack, and just barely in control of that one. Over on the far side, also winning that pair, as you see boat 10 crossing everybody on port and tacking to cover theirs. And of course, they've got the last place boat. So Roger Williams winning 2 pairs, Charleston just the 1 as they approach the windward mark. So pulling back to the blues and reds, you were talking about this young Stanford team. Yes, they had just an incredible recruiting class last year. They pick up all 3 of these skippers who sailed nationals as freshmen and performed quite well, although they didn't make the final 4. Mateo Vargas, Kevin Lobby, and Oliver Toole have been sailing together now for 2 years. They've got their starting crews, Tally Buckstaff, Kelly Ortell, and Haley Kirk, 2 sophomores and a freshman. Nobody on this team that's here is older than sophomores, which is pretty amazing.
Yep.
But here they are with Brown. While we're doing names, we've got that's Colin Smith, kind of the team leader in boat 17, tacking back. You spoke to him yesterday.
Yeah, junior Colin Smith and another junior Tommy Fink on this team, and sophomore Tyler Rice. I think, can we pick out which boats they're in? Can't really see from here right now.
Well, in any case, Brown is looking pretty good for this one. They're just going to cover the corners here, cover the right and the left. They should be able to take that right up to the finish, and it looks to me like Brown's going to pick up a win and stay ahead overall. Stanford needs to start getting some wins if they want to be considered for that Final Four. Turning back upwind to the top mark, black and yellow, is Roger Williams and Charleston. Charleston's got the lead here around Mark 2. They've got the 1. Roger Williams in the 2. I think, although Charleston's on the inside, where are they rounding? No, it's going to be a 1-2 for Charleston.
Yep, and Charleston sailing so well yesterday. They're a bit of an older team. Zeke Horowitz, senior, which we're not allowed to talk about with him apparently. It's a touchy subject. Mac Mace and Ben Spector, juniors.
Well, so it's a 1-2 for Brown at the finish. It looks like a 1-2 coming downwind for Charleston. Now turning down to the starting line. We've got the 3rd race of this first flight in the Gold Round Robin 2, and this is going to be Hobart in orange versus St. Mary's in green.
As we mentioned earlier, St. Mary's 5 wins, and that top group that tied on 5 wins yesterday, and coming up against Hobart, 3 wins yesterday.
Hobart William Smith, kind of the opposite end of the spectrum. These guys are seasoned, all seniors and juniors here. Austin Anderson and Bridget Nanig, a senior and a junior. Sam Bluen, senior skipper in the middle boat, sailing with Catherine Pello, a junior, and Johnny Norfleet, who just transferred over from UVM. This is his first year sailing for Hobart, and he's found a spot on their starting lineup. He's a junior sailing with Chris Clevin, the senior, and these guys have had quite a season, haven't they? St. Mary's, though, off the line well. St. Mary's, the perennial team appearing in Team Race Nationals. They have quite a tradition of excellence. They struggled a bit this season, especially early on. I think it was a matter of taking different players, getting them used to sailing with each other, but they've really turned it on toward the end of the season, and they've sailed great so far. They come into the day leading in that 3-way tie with Charleston and Brown. And off the line, it looks to me like they've got 2 pairs leading on the left. They've got one of the Hobart boats in last place, but that middle pair they're not controlling.
Yeah, and they're a little bit younger. Victor Diaz de Leon, junior, Josh Greenslade and John Wallace, sophomores, and perhaps on the bench, Jake Liddell, freshman.
Well, you've got the yellow and blacks coming down in the foreground. Let's just turn to there. We've got some action going on. I just saw contact between yellow boat 5 and black boat 10. Charleston's 1-2 obviously being broken up as we speak. Was there a flag? There's got to be a flag. Red flag. Who's it on? This could be a pretty big turning point for this race. Somebody's got to spin. 5. It's on 5 yellow, Charleston. And that is good news for Roger Williams. They have been trailing the whole race, and now they move into what looks to me to be a 2-3-5. A winning combination, but not stable. So plenty more. This should be an exciting leeward mark. Maybe we can just move that camera to the left, because this mark rounding is going to be awesome, and that pole is really just plaguing us today. Just terrible. I can't believe that the race committee would set the leeward mark behind a pole like that. So please excuse our tilted angle. That's just leaning out over this pavilion so you can see this leeward mark rounding. As Charleston, wow, good positioning there. They come around. Well, I say that and then I hear a whistle. I think there was more contact there. I'm having trouble seeing from where I'm sitting what's going on, so hopefully you guys at home have a better view than us. So, was that Charleston doing a penalty turn? Boat 4?
Yep, it's 4.
It is 4. So 4 is spinning for Charleston. It looked like they had come out of that pretty well. It looked like possibly a 1-2. But spinning now, and so Roger Williams once again with the advantage. You can see
tough to come back from.
Yeah, you can see the red and blue sails that are getting in the way. That's the reality of being perched atop the rotation dock. That was the first race, Stanford and Brown, with Brown taking the win.
Georgetown heading out. They had a bit of a rough day yesterday. Just 2 wins.
They did. Georgetown, who was ranked number 1 in team racing for most of the season, especially at the beginning. But it's a long season, especially when you include the postseason trip to nationals. So.
Yep, and they've got Sydney Bolger out, heading out. She just was awarded Quantum Women's Sailor of the Year a couple nights ago.
Well, Roger Williams, in these black boats coming on strong here in the second half of the beat. You can see they've got the 2, 3, 4, and they're determined not to give it up. They're just smashing boat 5 every chance they get. Boat 5 for Charleston, I believe, is that Mac Mace?
Mac Mace in 5, and we've got Zeke in 4, who's bringing out the tail end now. He also had to spin.
So Mac Mace and Perry Emzeke doing as many tacks as they can to try to get some clear air and help out their teammate in the lead boat, Ben Spector, with Alyssa Aiken. Spector, I think he's about to do something. I think he's decided that he can't wait any longer. He's going to have to go on the attack, and here he goes. So he's likely to give up the 1 doing this, but he's got to try something at this point. His team is going to lose if he finishes where he is. So attacking boat 12. Oh, he had to wait. He couldn't tack there right on him. He had to wait until 12 crossed, and he gives up the ability. So now he's going all the way across. This is the trouble when you're in first and your teammates are in a losing combo. There's really no right answer. There's no one that you can hit without giving up position. So you try to do as much as you can. He first put a little hit on one boat, then on the other. Unfortunately for him, his teammate, Zeke Horowitz, still in last place after that penalty turn earlier. Was that Zeke spinning, or was that?
It was. Well, Max spun on the way down to the bottom mark. Zeke spun after the bottom mark. Totally caught in all the bad air as everyone was rounding. It was not an ideal position to try and pull off a spin.
So we'll finish this one up before we turn back, because I'm still not totally convinced that this thing is over. Wow. Double tack there from Mac Mace. Beautiful, pinning boat 11 off to the right. Still in last place, though, is Charleston. Boat 11.
Red flag for...
Still waiting to see who's got that.
Perhaps yellow.
Yeah, it looks like that's going to be on Charleston. So Charleston, valiant effort there. Sometimes, you got to play it, you got to take some chances when you're that far behind and it just doesn't work out. They get the flag. And so that's going to be a win for Roger Williams. Roger Williams taking the first win. Charleston, I guess you could say, knocked off the leaderboard now. Taking now 1 behind Brown if you're keeping overall score. So to review, that's Brown and green. It looks like they've got the 1. That's boat 13. The low boat for Brown would be Tommy Fink and Molly Bernstein. They're sailing high, controlling their pair. And then you've got Hobart winning that middle pair, I guess. There's such a huge separation, it's hard to even call them a pair, with Brown leading the trailing pair on the far side of the course. Yikes, I think Charleston is going to get in trouble here. They're headed out for their next race. I'm talking about much closer to us, these blue boats. Charleston is heading out for their next race, but they're cutting right through the course where Roger Williams is
a whistle.
trying to beat Stanford. Who's this
There's
red
a
flag
red
going to be on?
flag. It looks like Roger Williams.
All right, so this black boat that's spinning,
Number
it might be
12.
blocked by the pole here. Black boat number 12. There we go. Doing turns.
That's horrible.
And you know, when you're in a position like this, oh, and look at that, come to a complete stop. They completely stalled out there. The combination of the dirty air from 4, the light wind, and the
still
waves.
going.
Oh my goodness. Roger Williams completely shooting themselves in the feet here. You know, I don't know what that was for, but I will say that all they had to do was keep sailing upwind, keep sailing cleanly.
Did you see that that nice tack that Stanford number 6 put in? It felt like a little bit re-energized there. About to start trying to take charge of this race.
I think they've got charge of this race. Where's the other black boat? Oh, I see that they were buried under the sail there. They've got charge of this race. They've got the opportunity to go 2, 3, 4. Boat 11 is footing off for speed on the far left side. I think that's a good idea. The way we've seen this wind shifting, if they can get a little leverage, they can get back in it for Roger Williams. But at the moment, Stanford, trying to keep track of everybody. Stanford is looking much better. 2, 3, 4 coming up the final beat.
Chris, we've seen a lot of this. What looked like to me just then a penalty taken. They weren't really around other boats. What is going on? Because that sort of penalty is totally unforced. You've got to kick yourself for doing something like that.
Absolutely, and you know, it's hard up here because you really don't know. You can't see the little things.
Yeah.
But yesterday we were on an umpire boat, and actually, you know, I think I agreed with all the calls that were being called behind us. I hate to take sides on these issues. I'm sure that the sailors who were getting calls against them disagree, but you know, it's the Rule 42 calls are pretty cut and dry. They look for that mast to go past vertical. They watch you pump, and they'll say it. They'll say, "Look at this boat. He's pumping. 1, 2, 3," and that's how many it takes. It's not just a little infraction. It's big, obvious stuff like that. Or look, he's putting his foot on the tank. He's rocking the boat, but he's not turning upwind. Stuff like that, and that's what gets you the red flags for Rule 42. I don't know if that's what that was.
I think it must have been. I think that's something that, you know, it's pretty hard to take or hard to eat that one. It's going to make you lose the race.
And it looks like, well, let's see. Roger Williams might still have a chance here. Look at boat 11. They got that leverage we talked about. They got off to the left, hit a header, tacked on it, coming back. It's hard to tell from behind the fleet like this exactly where they are going to match up on this cross. But if they can finish 1-2 or 1-3, Roger Williams is right back in it.
And
oh, they're going to tack
close.
to leeward. Are they going to be able to squeeze in and finish ahead of that Stanford boat down
goodness.
at the pin end?
I think so.
I think they've got
it.
I think they've got it as long as their teammate has the 1, and I think he does. That's got to be either a 1-2 or a 1-3, and Roger Williams comes back after just a devastating self-inflicted wound. Unbelievable. So Stanford, like you said, re-energized, but just not enough, not able to get control of both sides of the race course, and they give up a win. Wow.
Good start to the day for Roger Williams, 2 wins.
All right, where do we want to go next? We've got boats coming downwind, and this race is looking pretty well. It kind of looks like the Roger Williams race, actually. We've got 2 Hobart boats ahead of the rest of the fleet. It's a 1-2-6 for Hobart. It's a 3-4-5 for Brown, and a lot of separation, but obviously anything can happen. And this is the end. If you're just joining us, or if you're trying to keep track of the schedule here, this is the end of Flight 3. Once this race is done, we're into Flight 4. Flights are sets of 3 races before the sailors have to come in and rotate and go back out. We are trying to get through 10 flights. No, there's 2 pages to this, isn't there? I think we're trying to get through 11 flights. I'm not sure. In any case, we're trying to finish a round robin, which would be...
So yesterday, Hobart lost to Brown. So this is the second time they're coming head to head.
And it is important to keep in mind these head-to-head records. So frequently at the end of the regatta, you look at the records of teams and they're either separated by 1 or they're tied. And when they're tied, we look at the head-to-head records. The regatta is set up so that each team will face each other 3 times. And that means that the tiebreaker will end there. So if Hobart beats Brown once and Brown beats Hobart again, and then at the end of the regatta they're tied, it's that final race that's going to determine who comes out ahead.
Yep. Every race matters.
That's the college sailing mantra.
Yep. A little bit steadier breeze down here. I think they'll be thankful for that.
Well, we've got a little bit of a break in the action. We just finished up Silver Fleet. Oh, Joe's gonna need a chair. We'll stick with the racing for now, but in a second I've got a special treat for you. Sorry, we need to get your chair. Grab that one, that chair over there. Hey, Chad.
Hobart cruising up here. See the skippers sitting inside the boats for some of them. Brown following.
Now take a look at this boat 15 on the screen. They're allowed to sail all by themselves there. Now it's not a lot of separation. There's a boat to the right of them, boat 9 for Hobart. But they really are not in tight control. If these pairs get unbalanced, which is very likely, what is boat 9 going to do? They're going to need to come all the way back to get on top of that boat. Now I think luckily for Hobart that's not happening, because right now it looks like the boat on the other side, boat 7, is still in touch, but
looks pretty light on that left side right now.
Yeah, I wouldn't put it to chance here. I think that Hobart really needs to clamp down.
It's a little much separation with this kind of shaky breeze.
That's right. So now 15 coming back, actually making it a bit easier for boat 9. They've realized that they don't have 7, because 7 is on the other side. 7's the one on the left side of your screen, tacking now for Hobart. They got into some good breeze there, so they actually looked fine, but I still question as they come up to the finish. Cool. Come on in. And wireless mic. Okay, coming into the finish here. Well, coming into the finish here. One more tack ought to do it here for Hobart. William Smith. Boat 7 might be taking the 1. Boat 8 has room to finish. And they take the 2. And so Hobart William Smith evens the score with Brown, taking the victory here. Now, if Brown loses there, is any team undefeated still, Jane? Or has everyone faced a loss?
Today?
Yes, today.
So Hobart, am I not on this one? Okay. Yeah. Hobart has 2 wins. Also on 2 wins, Roger Williams. I think both of those undefeated today. Good start for those 2 teams.
All right, well, we're between sets here. We just finished up flight number 2. Flip these up for you. And we're joined here in the improvised pavilion studio with, oh boy, we're a little bit backlit. I'm sorry about that. No problem. With the winner and undefeated team on the silver round. This is George Kuchenreuter, sailing for University of Wisconsin. George, congrats on the silver round. Well done.
Thank you very much. We went out there, we tried hard. We'd like to be sailing now, but what you gonna do?
Yeah, I mean, there's obviously a lot of good teams. Talk about yesterday. Of course, you're disappointed not to have made this made the gold round. What would you have done anything differently, or do you think that you're just outmatched by the obviously terrific competition in front of us?
There were definitely races that we should have won, could have won. I think that we did a very good job preparing ourselves for this, and had we won a couple of those races, which we believe we should have won, then we'd be sailing today. But that sometimes that just doesn't happen. Another thing is yesterday, I think, was a really bad hair day for me, and today was a much better hair day. And if you don't look good, and I was looking good, but I wasn't looking my best. So the rest of the crews looked great though. So that was good. Today we all looked great. We all felt great, and we all sailed great. And I think that was the biggest thing today, was we looked really good out there.
I guess there's really not that much you can do about that. You wake up in the morning, it's either a good hair day or a bad hair day.
Yeah, well, you don't want to tell someone they're having a bad hair day because maybe they can't fix it. So it's one of those things. It's tough.
All right. Well, how are you enjoying yourself so far today? Are you going to hang around and watch some racing, or are you guys ready to just relax, decompress, and enjoy your silver fleet win?
Yeah, we're going to watch a few races. This is really great sailing. It's obviously some fantastic teams, and we want Brown to win because they have Colin Smith on their team, and he's a member of the same yacht club that me and my brother grew up sailing with. And so we're rooting for the Brown Bears. Go Brown Bears.
All right. Well, speaking of racing, we do have on the race course now Boston College and Charleston. These are the red and blue boats. And Jane, it looks like a floater. George, excuse me. As you guys know, Joe and George are both on the same team. I get them confused all the time. George, what's the call here? We've got Boston College in red, Charleston in blue. What are you seeing?
Okay, looks like a huge lefty came down, and it looks like none of them are around the windward mark, right?
I believe that's true.
I would try and find the breeze because none of them look like they're really ahead of the other, and I don't see any right now. But
I do see boats turning back. I think that race may have just been abandoned.
Yeah, that race is probably called off.
George, I gotta say that was probably the toughest situation you could jump into as a commentator, to look at a situation like that looks nothing like sailboat racing, and be asked to commentate on it. So thank you for trying.
No problem.
Congratulations again on the Silver Fleet win. That was impressive and fun to watch. You guys go undefeated. I guess better luck next year.
Yeah, thanks. We'll be back next year. Couple of seniors graduating. Really just have done unspeakably good things for this team. Molly Forbes, George Kuchenreuter, and of course Meg Six, equally as valuable. Not here today because she got mono for the third time.
Hurricane Six.
Hurricane Six, yeah. So she will be here.
It's not funny.
A little bit for co-eds, I think, to watch and cheer us on, which is going to be greatly appreciated. And another thing, just a shout out to a team member of ours, Andrew Fox, for losing his spleen earlier this week, and still coming out and sailing real well.
Oh my goodness.
And that's just a standard thing with the Wisconsin sailing team. You don't know what's coming, but we deal with it, and we run ourselves. And our coach Dave Elsmo does a great job running practices, making us better. It was a really great year, and we're proud of ourselves.
You should be. We're really impressed.
One more thing.
Congratulations. Oh, yeah, I thought so.
My brother told me to say this, that he is guaranteeing a win later this week for the co-ed national championship.
Overall,
It's not my call. He's a senior. He's guaranteeing a win. He's guaranteeing victory for the Wisconsin sailing team.
So, Joe Kuchenreiter.
Hope you're having some good hair days then.
Yeah, and I hope that none of your competitors are watching this, or you're gonna have a target on your back.
Hey,
I hope he's ready for that.
That's just it was his call. But he feels that way, and I feel the same way.
Jane, we wondered earlier about what kind of relationship these brothers have. I think we're learning something about that right now.
Seems horrible.
Well, I think
It's a productively competitive relationship.
as much fun as this is, I think we're going to take a short break as we wait for this wind to fill back in. Do you want to take us to commercial here? The sponsor, the presenting sponsor, is Maclaren.
All right, so what am I
Okay,
supposed to say?
so thanks for tuning in for continuing coverage.
Thanks for tuning in to continuing coverage here at McLaren's coverage of the Team Racing Nationals here in Austin, Texas, where it's hot and there's not any wind right now. See you soon.
That was great. See ya.
And it's hot.